today's video, we're going to be talking about all around 6'7" builds. Builds that are going to be able to unlock contact dunks, elite shooting in the mid-range and 3-point area, unlocking all of the dribble moves and the dribble style you're going to want, with solid defense, and also unlocking 4 takeover abilities, and one of them being the most OP takeover in the game, that being airspace. We got a couple different versions and a lot to talk about in this video to share what is possible on these 6'7" builds and why I think they're going to be a great hype for builds in NBA 2K27. So drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let's get this video started. With NBA 2K27 being new to all of us, you're going to need help with the best animations and jump shots. And NBA2KLab.com has you covered with a bunch of free tools. But if you buy their monthly subscription using code DoubleH for 20% off at checkout, you get access to all their premium tools, ranking all the best to worst animations, but having the ability to have every jump shot's base and releases ranked in green window percents and speeds in milliseconds is wild. There's also a custom jump shot recommender where you can plug in your controller and it recommends you a jump shot for your controller and latency. Get started now by going to NBA2KLab.com and use code DoubleH at checkout. What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Henry, aka DoubleH, back at it with yet another banger. And hey, we're gonna be going over my 6'7" build I made. This is probably my personal favorite build I made at 𝘠𝘠𝘠. Y'all know I like to make an ISO build for the 2's court, but regardless of what you're making it for, whether you want to make it a point guard, a shooting guard, whatever, you can obviously adjust the stats around. This is really just to give you an idea of what kind of 6'7" build you can make for NBA 2K27. So I'm not necessarily telling you to make this specific build. I'm kind of just showing you the build I made as the 6'7", and you can kind of get an idea of what you can get away with. Okay, now I will say with 2K27 builds, you don't really get as much compared to 2K26 in terms of like badges and some other stuff. So because you got to unlock badge tokens, there's even cap breakers, and you're not starting with any, but we're definitely gonna look at a build, with cap breakers in mind, because you're obviously gonna unlock some pretty early on, of course. But yeah, we're going with hand is left, jersey number 1, but messing around, the tallest point guard build you can make is 6'7". So if you want to make a 6'8", you got to be a shooting guard. And something I noticed with messing around the builder is if you want a 92 perim eventually on your build with a 6'8", you're not getting a high 3-pointer with that. Like, most 3 you're getting is an 86 if you want a 92 perim when it comes to this wingspan adjustment. So that's a big thing they changed with the 6'8s, is you're not just going to be able to get 92 perim, high 3-pointer too. Like, no, you're gonna get a lower 3 than that compared to 2K26. So that's one thing they changed. So if you want to get eventually a 92 perim and a good 3 ball, you're gonna have to make a 6'7". Not only that, but if you notice when you're looking at 6'8s, you max speed of ball you're getting is 80. Okay, and Zach LaVine dribble style is at 83 speed with ball. So, and I heard Scoot Henderson dribble style's decent for 80 speed with ball, but yeah, if you want Zach LaVine dribble style, hey, you can't make a 6'8". You're gonna have to make a 6'7". So that's another reason why I was looking at. Not only that, but if you want a high handles for days, which you might need with the bumps in this game, you're gonna have to go with a higher ball handle, which is gonna be at 6'7". Or if you want SGA double flick escape, then you're gonna need the 91 ball handle, which is gonna be at 6'7". So I ended up going with 6'7", and this is the first build I made with the 6'7". This is the first version. I'm gonna show multiple versions, talk about it and stuff. Now with the weight, I was kind of messing around with that as well. And then this is my first time in the actual attribute screen, right? And the first thing I did was go with that 80 or that 93 pointer. Okay, and I was messing around, throwing the dunk to 87 because I know, or 89 because I know contacts are 89, 78. That's silver posterizer, and I want contacts on my build, of course. And automatically I was like putting stats up like it was 2K26. I went 92 perim, 91 steal. Look, I'm already at 93 overall. I just got my ball handle to 86. Speed with ball, I just put to an 80, not really thinking, just kind of assuming, right? 65 pass seconds, I'm like, oh my god, I'm already at 97 overall. I'm trying to get my vertical for the contact dunks, and boom, I can't even upgrade anything else. But I wasn't even looking at the badges because there's not a badge you get at exactly 92 perim. there's not a badge you get at exactly a 91 steal. You know, I don't even have any rebounding. I don't have pass sack. I don't have speed and agility. I don't have block. I don't have interior. When you're making your 2K26 build, I mean 27 build, you can't just make your 2K26 build. The badges are different. You see, like, look at the thresholds. Like, it's 91 prim, 80 agility for seatbelt, which is kind of like clamps this year. Or for steel, I think it's 93 steel, and then there's 83 steel. Like, those are the little thresholds, right? So you got to make sure you're looking at your badges correctly and adjust those things. So I went right back, adjusted the weight, because I realized, oh, I also don't qualify for that 83 speed. So I was going to go the heaviest weight I can get while trying to get 83 speed with ball, and also maybe trying to look at that 70 O board to get the rebounding badge that you need. Sync crasher to get those crazy Superman animations. You get at 70 O board, you get silver. So I was like, okay. Now keep in mind, I'm just doing that because of the twos. Like, a lot of y'all, if you're playing 2 guard and pro-am or something, and you want to make a 6-7, like, you not upgrading O board, right? But yeah, looking back at the build, this is what we got, right? I also wanted to look at what animations I need. You know, I was looking at the badges at first, but we need to see what these animations unlocks are. So I saw contact dunks is the same. You know, got 87-75, 89-78 for the off one contacts. Then I was looking at moves and Zach LaVine dribble style. You need an 83 speed with ball. Paul George escape, you need an 86 ball handle. So you can't just go 85 like last year. SGA double flick escape, you can't have a low ball handle like you could last year, or a lower ball handle like you could last year and get it. No, you need a 91 ball handle. Yeah, you got to look at those moves, think about what moves you want, and make sure you can even get those, because the stats are different for those. But luckily you can look at all that stuff in the builder. I was even looking at takeovers, and deep bomber takeover isn't a thing anymore. It's called zip code, and if you want it, you can't have a 93 like last year. You gotta have a 91-3. But I saw shot artist as a shooting takeover at 89 or mid-range, and that's just like a fading takeover, like any fades, mid-ranges, threes, and I honestly really like that as a takeover. So I was chilling without getting the 91-3. Like, I'm fine getting the 89, especially in season 1, because fades were looking good when it comes to theater gameplay and stuff. So I was fine with just, you know, settling with shot artist, because you're gonna see when you make your builds, like, you can't really just get away with all these stats like you may have with the cap breakers last year, or even just on a 6-8 in general last year. But yeah, especially with no cap breakers. Anyway, so this was me adjusting the build around after learning what I learned. So I went 85 per M, because that's where you get silver seat belt depending on your agility. So I put my agility up, got silver seat belt. Then we look at the steel. You need an 83 steel for silver glove, or if you don't care about silver glove and you just want silver interceptor, you can go 77 steel, which I'm honestly fine with after seeing the gameplay. Like, there's not a lot of blitzes right now, so is what it is. So then I just upgraded my speed to upgrade it. I don't know what speed or agility we're exactly gonna need. Like, we're obviously gonna have to play the game to figure that out. High flying deniers at 68 block. The paint patroller is 70 block and 61 interior, or was it 60? I think it's 60 interior for paint patrol. Yeah, 60 interior. So I went ahead and got that really quick. And then I also wanted, you know, some other stats, but right now the defense is like looking good enough, right? Like, it's not, I don't have anything crazy, but it's like what I need for the certain badges, right? And I went down to 87 dunks, 75 vertical, so I can still get contacts like you could last year, but like I don't have the 89-78 contacts. And I also have an 89 3-pointer for that takeover and the badges, and I have an 87 mid-range for the silver fading badge called smooth operator, because you can't get the same badges you want at mid-range with 3-pointer. Like, you know how last year you upgrade mid-range, you get set shot specialist, and that works for threes too. Like, no, they're separate mid-range badges and they're separate 3-point badges. So if you want to be a mid-range shooter and a 3-point shooter, you got to upgrade both. You know what I mean? So if you don't upgrade one or the other, you're not gonna have the badges for them, and you're not gonna be shooting as well from that area. Okay, I went 70 pass sack, and I'm messing around with that because, you know, I'm on the 2, so I don't need a crazy high pass sack. And this is me just messing around with the stats, seeing what I can get away with. Once again, this is my second attempt at making the 6-7. The first attempt, I didn't even know the badge thresholds or the animation thresholds. After learning them, this is me adjusting it. So I was going for the O board, getting that 60 to get crasher and bronze sink snatcher. I couldn't get this 70. You know, I'm already at 98 overall. So I'm trying to see even what extra stats I could possibly get right here. I went up to 82 agility just to get it, because once again, I don't know how much speed, how much agility we're even gonna need. I even got all the way to 87 speed for gold hash, but it's not really gonna help me on the 2s. But of course, if you're playing 5s and you're on the running the break on a 2 guard, that badge is gonna be really important. Then I just upgraded an interior just for the stats, which, hey, you might want to upgrade that interior just for the stats, or else you're gonna be getting yammed on like crazy in 2K27. So I even got up to a 65 interior, which is not too bad. And right now, like, this is what a 6-7 build is really looking at basically 99 overall. And I want you to notice, I don't even have a stat in the 90s, which, like, a lot of y'all would look at that and be like, damn, that's trash. But like, bro, this is what you can get away with in 2K27. You're not gonna have, at least with no cap breakers, I feel like this is pretty good getting away with this with 0 cap breakers. But you're gonna see what I end up making with just a couple cap breakers in mind. And once we unlock some badge tokens, some cap breakers, you're definitely gonna be able to make some crazy builds here. I'm going over the badges and how much badge tokens I get in each slot. So I have 8 finishing, 13 playmaking, 1 rebound, 17 shooting, 8 defense, and 8 physical. Now those change based off your height. That's what changes that the most. And also how much each badge costs in terms of badge tokens changes on your height, and also a little bit about what you're upgrading. So limitless range on silver isn't going to cost the same on a 6'2" than a 6'8". You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's kind of like 2K23 in a sense when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, obviously if you wanted free throw, if you play 5s, you got to upgrade that and lower something else. If you want more pass set because you want to play PG on this build on the 5s or the 3s, then you might have to upgrade that and lower something else. Or, you know, if you play 2s, then this is fine for me, right? Or if you play 1s, then you don't need any pass sag, you don't need any rebounding, take that off, right? Or if you want to do a little bit of everything in every game mode, then just adjust it to your liking. But this was for my liking, right? And these are the badges and stats I ended up going with on my first version of the 6-7, right? This is no cap breakers in mind, y'all. So we do get contacts, we get the shooting badges, and we get the animations we want, we get the Zach LaVine dribble style, we get the defensive badges that we can get away with the attributes we have at hand. And we have like decent speed and agility to start the year, enough vertical for the contacts, and then just 60 board just to get some kind of rebounding badges. And the build name we end up getting is a 2-way bucket chaser. So our weaknesses, it says, is ball dominant with little passing ability because we have a 70 pass sag, and then opponents win most physical matchups because I don't have strength. But I don't plan on upgrading strength. I mean, I know some of y'all in the comments gonna be tweeting about that because y'all love strength, but I never put strength on my builds. It's just not something I want to do, unless maybe I was like a lockdown or something. But I'm not going for a lockdown build. Yeah, here's the screen when it comes to the badge tokens. I mean, I get a lot of y'all are gonna be super confused, but even I was a little confused. But this is just me messing around with it. I'm gonna go more into depth with it and what I equipped when it comes to like the next build I make. But you basically, yeah, I put on my tokens and stuff. I put on some of the takeovers I unlocked. I unlocked shot artist takeover. I unlocked airspace finishing takeover, which is really good if you watch the gameplay video. Playmaking, I got blurred takeover unlocked on this build, and then I got glue defensive takeover, and then just the default rebounding takeover. So a lot of builds, you know, get 2 default takeovers. So I actually get 4 takeover abilities with this build, which is pretty crazy, to be honest. You know, a lot of builds only would only get 3 takeover abilities. We get 4, so definitely a very good all-around build. That's a good sign of that. All right, now it's time to make my official build for 2K20. I think this is like, I'm gonna base my actual build I start on 2K27 with based off this. So y'all know I'm a 2s player. I'm gonna, you know, keep some cap breakers in mind. I didn't even show you the cap breaker screen on the first build I made. So now I'm going into this build thinking about cap breakers. So we're gonna go 6-7 point guard. Once again, if you want to make this build the 2 or the 3, depending on what you're trying to do with the build, of course you could do that. I'm not telling you to make the build exactly. I'm just showing you what I did. I cannot stress that enough. Anyways, so yeah, well, the first thing I do is upgrade my 3-pointer to an 89 because we want that shot artist takeover, and then the 87 mid-range for silver smooth operator, and that also gives us gold set and fire at 89.3. We get the fading 3-point badge at silver. We get silver limitless range. We get the fading silver mid-range badge and the gold standing still badge. So the gold standstill shooting badges and the silver fading badges. And then with the driving dunk, I went ahead and put that to 87 to start, just to get contacts, silver posterizer. I also wanted some good speed. I'm not trying to be slow out here. So originally I just upgraded to 82 speed, 81 agility, and then, you know, 85 speed. You know, we're just upgrading slow at a time. Okay, we're not finished with the build. 75 vertical to get the contact dunks that we need, the off 2 contact dunk, 85 prim for that silver seatbelt badge, 77 steel for silver interceptor. Not going for that silver glove just yet. Then 68 dunk is going to give us, or 68 dunk, 68 block is going to give us high flying denier, so I go to that, and then 70 for the paint patroller, and then 60 for the paint patroller, and then I just go extra 65 interior just to get it, because you know you might need it in this game. And that might not, that's honestly probably not even enough. 60 𝘬𝑩 to get the bronze rebounding badges, 86 ball handle to get the drill moves we want with Paul George escape, 83 speed ball to get 𝘧𝘭𝘭𝘵 drill style, 70 pass act to get silver dimer, and just to be able to get some decent passes on the 2s. You know, that's really all you need on the 2s. Obviously, depending on what game mode you play, what position you're playing, you're probably gonna want to lower something, upgrade that. Maybe if you want free throw, I put 40 standing dunk just to get the animation. You know, on wide open standing dunks, I'll have some kind of green window. So, but in hindsight, I'd like to have a way higher standing dunk, but you're gonna see what I end up doing with the cap breakers. But yeah, this is what I made originally, right? Like, this is the first build we made, and you're gonna see this is the cap breaker screen for this build. So our cap breakers are pretty bad, I'd like to say. You know, besides the steel, you know, maybe we can get to that 83 steel to get silver glove with 3 cap breakers on that, or maybe we upgrade the pass act and, you know, we get that to like 83 pass act. And but look at, like, everything else is just like +1 for the most part. You know, the interior is good cappers. So I was like, okay, what can I save? Like, also we could get 91 ball handle with +5 cappers. But I was like, okay, what can I save attributes on? And maybe start out with another stat that I would like the 91 ball handler per se, and see what I can get away with. So I went back to the builder, adjusted some things around, and I went down on the mid-range. I went to 79 mid-range. So, because I still am going to get that 87 mid-range for silver smooth operator, but we went down to 87 or 79 mid-range. I went up to 70 O-board to get that silver sink snatcher for rebounding, and then I went down the interior defense to 60, and then right here, you know, I got 70 interior, I got 85 agility, but with the lower mid-range with the 70 O-board, and I could do this, you know, the 10 cap breakers, I'd have the 87 mid-range and the 91 ball handle, but I'm like, okay, I'm probably not gonna get 10 cap breakers early, so let me adjust this agility, let me adjust this interior defense, let me adjust this rebounding, see what I can get away with to try to get this 91 ball handle off rip. And this is what I ended up going with. So you see, I don't have the 40 standing dunk anymore. I don't have the 85 agility anymore. I don't even have the 85 prim anymore. I have the 65 interior still. I only have the 60 O-board. And now I get the 91 ball handle off rip to get that SGA escape and to get higher handles for days. And looking at my cap breakers, I can still get like 83 pass, like I can get a high interior, I can get the 85 prim, I can get an 83 steel, and then I can get an 87 mid-range with 5 cap breakers on the mid-range. So if I were to start with 5 cap breakers, I would just put my 87 mid-range to the test. I get the Paul George escape, I get the SGA escape, I get the 𝘧𝘭𝘭𝘵 dribble style, and I get gold handles for days now, which eventually I could +2 and get legend handles for days on a 6-7. And this build was ended up calling a hash sinker slasher. So taking a look at the first build compared to the second build, honestly, I would probably go with the first build just because I get the 40 standing dunk, I get the extra perimeter defense, and I get the extra +1 agility, and I could still get the 91 ball handle with the same amount of cap breakers with the +5, right? And then I also start with the mid-range off rip, and like, oh, I don't start with the SGA, like I'll be fine. But if I want to start with the SGA, I'd go with the other build. But yeah, very similar builds, pretty similar outcomes. This is the next build, but you kind of lose a little stats with the prim, with the agility, and with the standing dunk, but then you get to the ball handle off rip, and then you can cap break the mid-range. So I feel like regardless, both these, I mean, the first build literally gets everything you would want with just 5 cappers. You know, you get all the dribbles you want, you have a high ball handle, high handles for days, you get the 𝘠𝘭𝑚 dribble style, you get all the shooting badges for mid-range and 3-pointer, you get the contact dunks, you get solid defense, you have some kind of rebound, and then you have the physicals needed outside of strength. Now, taking a look at the badge tokens, this is where it's confusing, but I'm just going to show me putting on the badge tokens. But basically how this works, y'all, and at the time, you're seeing I'm doing it wrong, but you're gonna see I do it wrong. But the first thing you want to do is put on your fuse badges. And when you put on your fuse badges, those are gonna be badges that you just get for free. You don't have to spend tokens on them. So let's say I put on like handles for days +1, and eventually you're gonna see I get +2. So I can get legend handles for days at one point. But let's say I get like Hall of Fame handles for days from gold to Hall of Fame, and then I want to put a reaction badge on that. So the reaction badge could be like lightning launch, and that can go from silver to gold. So when I'm activating handles for days a lot, lightning launch is gonna go from silver to gold, and handles for days just starts the game at Hall of Fame. Does that make sense? So if you want the fuse badges that you equip to be badges that activate a lot, because then you're gonna get reaction badges that go up. Okay, now the reaction badges are gonna cost you tokens. You have to have those actually equipped. Fuse badges you don't have to spend tokens on, they're just for free. And then of course you have a certain amount of badge tokens in each category with finishing, playmaking, rebounding, shooting, defense, and physicals, mostly based off your height. And you also have a certain amount of badge slots too, but you can add badge tokens and badge slots. And apparently you can also, unlock badge tokens and badge slots through, rep, levels, crews, challenges, and all that good stuff. So you're gonna unlock more of those. And these are kind of just the badges I was putting on at first. They allowed us 3 badge slots or bonus badge slots and 12 bonus badge tokens. So that's what I ended up putting on. Let me know what y'all think of the 6-7s in NBA 2K27. I'm sure y'all gonna have to look at some other builds, because don't compare it to 2K26, because this is a completely different builder. Okay, you're not gonna be able to get away with same things you were getting away with in 2K26. But I think 6-7 is my favorite height when it comes to some kind of ISO build in 2K27. Yeah, let me know in the comments what y'all thought. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. We're gonna have other build videos on the channel. Make sure to go check them out. If you haven't checked out the gameplay breakdown video, go check that out. It's your boy Henry, aka DoubleH. No matter, y'all. Peace.